Once upon a time, not merely long ago, but in an age when stories still shaped the world, there lay a kingdom stretched along the river Nile, a river so ancient that it remembered the first footsteps of humankind. By day, it shimmered like molten gold, and by night, it reflected the stars, as if the sky itself had fallen into its waters. This was Egypt, a land where desert and garden lived side by side, forever negotiating peace. Over this land ruled Queen Cleopatra, whose name was spoken with equal parts reverence and wonder. Some said she was born human, others claimed the gods themselves had leaned too close to the world and left something divine behind. On the night of her birth, the moon had paused in its journey, and the wind had gone still, as though the world were holding its breath. Cleopatra grew not only in beauty, but in understanding. She listened more than she spoke, and learned more than she commanded. Tutors taught her history, mathematics, and the art of rule, but her truest lessons came from quieter teachers. From Nefer, the ancient tortoise who lived in the palace gardens, she learned patience. What endures, he would say slowly, moves forward even when it seems still. From Seshat, the owl who nested in the palace library, she learned memory and foresight. To forget, Seshat warned, is to rule blindly. And from Nefru, the serpent who slipped unseen through halls and shadows, she learned caution. Every crown casts a shadow, he whispered. Know what lives in yours. When Cleopatra became queen, the land prospered. The river flooded as it should, crops grew tall, and traders came from distant realms. Yet beneath this prosperity, invisible threads began to strain. Pride crept into the hearts of nobles, fear into the hearts of farmers, and ambition into the councils of men. One evening, as Cleopatra stood on the palace balcony, she heard the river speak, not in words, but in feeling. Its flow was uneasy. That same night, Nefer arrived, his steps slower than ever. "My queen," he said, "the balance trembles. When balance breaks, stories turn into warnings." Cleopatra understood. Balance was the secret law of the world, older than kings and queens. Without it, power became poison. She resolved to seek the mirror of truth, an artifact older than memory, hidden deep within the Temple of Three Shadows, a place few entered and none unchanged. Before dawn, she departed in secret, wearing no crown. Horus the falcon circled above her, his sharp eyes watching the horizon. Their journey took them through villages where children played beside dry fields, and through markets where voices argued more than they traded. Cleopatra listened, storing every sight and sound in her heart. As the desert deepened, the air grew heavy and the world shimmered. There they met Ka, the lion of the dunes, whose roar shaped the wind itself. He blocked their path, eyes burning with ancient authority. "Turn back," he commanded. "Only those who know themselves may pass." Cleopatra knelt, pressing her hand into the sand. "I am still learning who I am," she said, "but I know who I serve." Ka studied her silence as much as her words. At last, he stepped aside. "Go then," he said, "but remember, courage is not the absence of fear, it is respect for it." The Temple of Three Shadows rose from the desert like a thought made stone. Inside, light bent strangely, and footsteps echoed before they were taken. When Cleopatra stood before the mirror of truth, she felt her breath leave her. The mirror showed her not one future, but many. She saw herself crowned and celebrated, and alone. She saw alliances forged in love and broken by pride. She saw a great eagle of iron feathers descending from the north, bringing order with one claw and destruction with the other. Most painful of all, she saw that every choice she made would save some and wound others. She turned away in tears. Nefru coiled beside her. Truth, he said softly, is not meant to comfort, it is meant to prepare. Cleopatra left the temple changed. She no longer believed a ruler could be perfect, only responsible. Upon her return, she did something no ruler had done before. She traveled the land, village by village, telling stories instead of issuing commands. She spoke of the lion who guarded the desert, the river that remembered kindness, and the mirror that punished arrogance. Slowly, the people changed. They argued less and listened more. Balance began to heal. But fate does not yield easily. From the north came Aquila, the iron-feathered eagle, embodiment of conquest. His shadow darkened the fields, and his voice promised order through domination. Many were tempted. Fear is persuasive. Cleopatra went to meet Aquila alone, standing on the banks of the Nile. "You may take this land," she said calmly, "but it will never belong to you." Aquila laughed. "Power decides belonging." Cleopatra touched the river. "No," she replied, "memory does." When Aquila saw farmers, soldiers, elders, and children standing together behind her, he hesitated. For the first time, his wings trembled. He withdrew, not defeated, but changed. Years passed. Cleopatra ruled not as a legend, but as a lesson. When she finally lay down to rest, the moon again leaned close, and the river flowed gently, as if in gratitude. And so the story became a fairy tale, and the fairy tale became a warning that true power listens, that wisdom carries a cost, and that balance, once broken, must be healed with courage, humility, and heart. Moral: a ruler who chooses harmony over glory leaves a kingdom that outlives